You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The Options Insider Radio Network is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. At Fidelity, you'll always get a great value for your options trades. And with powerful investing tools that provide clear next steps, plus independent research and a wide range of investment types, we can help you make better trading decisions. Learn more about options trading with Fidelity at fidelity.com/options. Options trading entails significant risk and is not appropriate for all investors. Certain complex option strategies carry additional risk. Before trading options, contact Fidelity Investments by calling 800-544-5115 to receive a copy of the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 17th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from Investing.com's Top 5 Things to Know in the Market on Wednesday. The U.S. futures point to a modest pullback. U.S. stock futures indicated a slightly lower open, taking a breather from the strong performance Tuesday when each of the major indices rose more than 2%. Second thing to know today is Netflix surges after huge beat on subscriber growth. Netflix hooked 7 million new streaming subscribers from July to September, a third more than Wall Street had expected, reassuring investors who had worried the company was facing a slowdown in its fast-paced growth. The record number of additions in the third quarter brought Netflix's customer base to 137 million worldwide, confirming its rank as, by far, the world's biggest online subscription video service. The streaming giant reported third quarter earnings after the market closed on Tuesday. The third thing to know today is the Fed FOMC meeting minutes are coming out. Investors are awaiting the publication of minutes from the Federal Reserve's latest policy meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for further clues into the monetary policy in the months ahead. The U.S. Central Bank raised interest rates by a quarter point, as widely expected following its meeting on September 26th, its third rate hike of the year, and took a slightly more hawkish tone by dropping the word accommodative to describe its monetary policy stance. Interest rate futures are pricing in around an 83% chance that the Fed will again raise interest rates in December, according to Investing.com's Fed Rate Monitor tool. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump continued his criticism of the Federal Reserve, calling it his biggest threat as it was raising rates too fast. Fourth thing to know today is we got some U.S. housing data. On the data front, the Commerce Department at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time is expected to report building permits rose 2.1% in September to 1.27 million units. Housing starts, meanwhile, are expected to be negatively impacted by Hurricane Florence, with analysts expecting a drop of 4.5% to 1.22 million units. A recent batch of upbeat data signaled that the U.S. economy remains on solid footing, despite the rise in interest rates and global trade war tensions. The dollar index was a shade higher at 94.90. In the bond market, U.S. Treasury prices held steady with the benchmark 10-year yield standing at around 3.165%. The fifth thing to know today is EIA's weekly oil report is coming. In commodity markets, the U.S. Energy Information Administration will release its weekly oil supplies report for the week ended October 12th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. After markets closed Tuesday, the American Petroleum Institute said that its U.S. oil inventories fell by 2.1 million barrels last week. The API data also showed supplies of gasoline declined by 3.4 million barrels, while distillates fell 246,000 barrels, sources said. Our second story today is from investing.com. Aluminum, a fundamentally solid metal, bashed in by sanctions. Whether it's used for manufacturing foil, for sandwich wrappers, or in the production of aircraft bodies, it's the one metal business can't do without. In fact, aluminum is such a ubiquitous raw metal, tolerated well even by animals and plants, it's hard to imagine life on Earth without it. Still, it's one of this year's least favored bets on the London Metal Exchange, having spent 7 out of 10 in the red. It's now heading for its first annual loss in 3 years. Aluminum's weak prices are down to one single driver: U.S. sanctions against the Russian aluminum giant Rusal and its CEO, Oleg Deripaska. The company is part of a broader group of Russian firms, businessmen, and government officials sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department in April for alleged meddling in the 2016 presidential elections. And our third story today is from CNBC.com. Weekly mortgage applications tanked 7.1% as interest rates surge to a near 8-year high. The Columbus Day holiday may have closed some lending offices, but rising interest rates are more likely the culprit for weakness in the mortgage market. Total mortgage application volume fell 7.1% for the week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association's seasonally adjusted report. There was no adjustment made for the holiday. Volume was 15% lower compared with the same week 1 year ago. Applications to refinance a home loan, which are highly sensitive to even the smallest rate moves, fell 9% for the week and were 33.5% lower than a year ago. Rates have moved 22 basis points higher in the past 4 weeks and have jumped 96 points in the past year. With fewer borrowers now able to benefit, refinance volume, which had been the majority of mortgage business following the recession, fell to 38.1% of total applications from 39% the previous week. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Wednesday, October 17th, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Trade smart, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.